Hi, I'm Jennifer Ledwith of Scholar and welcome to SAT Reading and Writing. This video focuses on answering those questions about writers' claims. Here's today's item, and before we dive in, we need to do one important thing. The first thing we're going to do before we answer any question on the SAT Reading and Writing section is to read the question. Let's go. Which finding, if true, would most directly support the writer's claim? Once we read the question, let's break down the question. Which finding, if true? So that means that all of the answer choices are true. So this is not a question about which are the true or false. That's not what this is. This is finding an answer that supports the writer's claim. In other words, supports what the writer is arguing. Now that we know what the question is asking, let's go to the passage and read to find the answer. And as we read, we're going to define the words and refine our understanding. Okay. In an open world economy, and an economy is a system of managing the resources and production of goods and services in a region. So just imagine that the world is an open market. So in an open world economy, the effect of climate change on any individual country cannot be considered in isolation. In other words, a state of being alone. Cannot be considered in isolation from the rest of the world. So what we're saying is climate change, the effects of climate change on one country is going to be connected with what happens in other countries. Changes in regional climates and agricultural production. Agricultural is related to growing crops and raising animals for food or other goods for sale. So changes in regional climates and agricultural production. So agricultural production, think about how we sell pigs and sheep and cows and corn and grain to eat. Think about it like that. So changes in regional climates and agricultural production affect world agricultural prices through international market transactions. A transaction is the act of buying and selling. Thus draws a line, and it says what comes before is the cause and what comes after is the effect. So everything that came before is causing what follows the thus. Thus, it is not possible to infer the economic effects of climate change on agricultural producers and consumers, producers or sellers, consumers or buyers, on the basis of national yield change estimates alone. So national yield is the amount of agricultural product that a country produces. So when I read that, I ask myself, what is the claim? The writer is claiming that the effect of climate change on any individual country is going to be linked to climate change in another country or countries. Let's put the answer in my own words. All right, so again, so the question is, which finding, if true, would most directly support the writer's claim? Now, it's most likely the answer choices are going to include examples that support the writer's claim. Remember, all of these examples will be correct. We just have to find an example that support what the writer is arguing. So let me create some criteria for my correct answer. All right, so my correct answer needs to discuss effects of climate change. It also needs to discuss how these effects of climate change are linked to one country and how the effects are also linked to another country or countries. Before I decide the correct answer, I want to make sure that I understand the multiple choices. So I'm going to define the highlighted words to help. Precipitation is snow, rain, sleet, snow, hail that falls from the sky to the ground. Median in a data set, in a set of numbers, the median is the number in the middle. Quality of living is well-being. Cultivates means to grow or to care for. And adapt means to change. Which answer choice best matches what I said about supporting the writer's claim? Okay, let's look at A. A. In Iceland, if the temperature increases, so we have a country, we have climate change because the temperature is increasing, then the country's precipitation will increase and its rye production will increase. Okay, there's no mention about another country, so it can't be A. B. If global carbon dioxide doubles, okay, so there we go, something related to climate change, then the median winter temperature will increase in the Midwestern United States. Okay, so we have a change effect in one country, but what about the others? And I get it. I get that it says global, and global includes all countries, but that's not specific enough. So it's not specific enough, and we want to find the best answer. So let's keep looking. C. If climate change, there we go, climate change, drives the crop production of the United States and Canada to decrease, so we have these changes that are affecting the United States and Canada, then China's quality of living will increase. So we see how these changes affect another country. So that sounds like what I said, but let's keep reading. Let's look at D. If Japan, following the example of another rice-growing country, plants rice earlier and cultivates different varieties of rice, then the country's rice industry can adapt to changing global temperatures. So there we have the climate change with the changing global temperatures, but it talks about Japan. We do see a conversation about another rice growing country, but it's not clear of how the effects of climate change are affecting the other countries, or how what's happening in those countries are affecting Japan. So my answer is C, and the correct answer is C. I'm Jennifer Leverett of Scholar Ready, and if you would like to learn more about how we help students prepare for PSAT, SAT, and ACT, please visit us at www.scholarready.com. Remember, higher scores open doors.